Hi, Seth Wilkinson from SealRyt Corporation, manufacturers of high-performance braided packing and the PackRyt, here today for the Pump Seal channel to go over how to install a PackRyt bearing. So my guess is, if you're watching this video, is because someone's dumbass threw out the directions. Every single one of our PackRyts comes with directions. My guess is whoever opened the box, probably a male, said, I don't need directions. I can do this. It's pretty simple. But now here you are, asking us how to put this in. I'm going to tell you, look at the directions. And then we can cut here, and you can figure it out.
Everybody makes mistakes sometimes.
However, I'm not that much of an asshole. So let's go through this. All right. First things first, what you're going to want to do, obviously, whatever piece of equipment you're working on, you're going to want to clean it out. Pull the gland follower off, get in there, get all that old packing out, and then make sure you inspect. I like to use flashlight and a mirror, and I go through that whole thing and make sure I've gotten out everything out of that stuffing box, all right, so that I'm dealing with a clean work surface. Sometimes I'll use the flush water. I'll give it a quick crank, try to just flush it out. Biggest thing is making sure that this sucker is clean, all right? That's first. Then you go ahead and you open up the PackRyt box. Every PackRyt comes on the label. It'll show you right there, there's arrows. That's the direction in which you actually install the PackRyt bearing. Have people reverse these? Yes, they have. Even with arrows. Even with, well, I can't say common sense. I think it was a lack of common sense. Okay? Once I have now officially cleaned this sucker out, what I want to do is I want to measure again one more time the depth of the stuffing box. So I will take my handy dandy calipers right here, and I have my little packing puller. I'll go in here, boom, I'll get it to the bottom like such, and I'll come up with my measurement of my depth, and what I'm looking at here, about 2.64. From there, I'm going to record that right here. Okay, now I'm going to measure the width of my bearing. Boom, 1.249. Now I'm going to subtract 1.249 from 2.64. Great, now I got to do math, right? Okay, so it's about 1.440. Okay, so what that tells me is that's the measurement once I've installed the bearing into the actual stuffing box and it's fully seated. Then I'm going to measure again, and I should come up to right around 1.40. That's the way I know that PackRyt's all the way down to the bottom. It is key. Anytime you have debris in there or anything obstructing, what you're going to do then is offset that lantern ring, and then you go and turn on the water, and you're going to have a faucet coming out of the gland. All right, so they come split. Trick of the trade here. I'm going to come in here first with just half, right? If you're working with old and worn out equipment, this is a very good thing to do. Or if you have an agitator with an overhung shaft, many times that shaft may not be centered inside of the stuffing box. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to just put it in on one half, and I'm going to rotate it all the way around. What I'm doing here is I'm checking the clearances all the way around this entire stuffing box. All right. If by chance you get a pinch, something happens, all right, there's a couple of different things that you can do. You can either, if available, you can try to porta power that shaft or move that shaft and then sneak that bearing in there and seat it all the way in, or you can actually sand these. So I know people go, oh, bullshit. You're actually going to rest the shaft on this? Yes, it's called a bearing for a reason. Okay, yes, you can rest the shaft directly on this. You're going to be fine. If you sand it, keep in mind, now you sanded it and you've made the tolerances good on that one plane. On the back side of that now, you've opened it up a little bit. So you may see some leakage on the OD of the gland follower. Just keep that in mind. You may want to crank down a little bit more than you normally would. Okay? So, without further ado, I'm taking both halves now and trying not to screw this up, indicating, making sure Right here is a nice little beveled edge that tells me that goes in first. I'm going to put these suckers together, and now I'm going to put it inside the pump. From there, I'm going to fully seat it using my fancy schmancy tamping tool here. I'm going to check all the way around. You can give it a few taps. Okay, feels like I'm good. All right. From there, I'm going to remeasure just to make sure that I'm fully seated. So from here, come in, boom, do my measurement. I am spot on. Spot on. Okay, now I know it is time to go ahead and start installing my packing. Again, some sets may come with all the same type of packing. Some will come with different types of packing. Make sure you refer to your initial packaging, and it'll tell you which ring to put in first. Okay, so here. I like to form the old helix. Makes my life a lot easier. Now with that, again, I'm going to seat every single ring. Easier said than done. This is where taking your time and making sure everything is fully seated will pay dividends. Okay, these are both the same, so I'm just going to pull these out. Boom. Remember to stagger your joints. It's a whole nother class. That bottom doesn't want to go in. I think with a little bit of English, it will. Okay. Last ring. Okay. Time for the trusty old Gland follower. Thought I had it. And there we go. Okay. My washers. Oh, rookie. Okay, so now it's installed Gland followers in, right? I've made sure that I've piloted my my Gland nose at least an 1/8 inch into the stuffing box. Next thing I'm just going to do real quick, I'm just going to check to make sure that I'm even all the way around. how I typically do that. I'll take something like this here and I'll measure at the stud. Boom, from there. And then I'll take this one here and I'll see that I am slightly more in on this side. So I'm just gonna tighten this up until the point where everything is even. At that point, you go through the startup procedures, and then you would tighten it as you normally would any other packing set. All right. So what we'll do, we'll cut here, and then we'll come back once this thing's fired up and show you what it should be looking like. Okay, and we're back. So we set up our flow system over here, got the water turned on. As you can see right down here, we have a decent flow coming out. I'd call that a class 3 leak in the military. All right, if that's coming out of your differential, don't drive your truck. So I'm going to turn the pump on. Boom, there we go. Nice and quiet. All right, now from there, I'm going to watch that water initially here, and I'm going to slowly make my adjustment by the flat. One flat here. Give it a minute, let it kind of settle in. This is where we play elevator music. I'll speed up the process a little bit. I'll go one more flat. Fine art of adjusting the pump. Okay, so we've already started to decrease that drip. Again, we like to see no drip, but we also understand not everybody agrees with us, and that's okay. One more flat. Okay. Again, a little bit of drip. Not a big deal. We're going to let that thing settle in. All right. So, again, you just adjusted to your comfort level. Like I said, we like to see no water coming out. If you do prefer to have the drip, you can just treat it like you would a standard packing set. 1 drip per minute or whatever your standards are at your particular facility. If you have any other questions or if you continue to throw away the directions, do push-ups and then give us a call. Thanks a lot.